Mark and Sarah Stamping Retreat. Today we're going to be creating this really cool kind of stained glass effect card. So it's got this vellum front to it, which gives a really nice effect to the card. And to create that, we'll be using this Thinking of You Blossoms stamp set from Polkadoodles. And I really love this flower. It's actually much bigger in real life. You see, this is the actual size of the stamp. So to create this card, I have taken a 5-inch square white card blank and a 5-inch square piece of Coordinations white cardstock, and I laid them over each other like this, and I used this, which is the largest of these dies, so that one fits around the outside, from Polkadoodles. So these are the Posy Doodle squares. So you can see 2 of them have this nice dotty edge on them, and 2 of them are just straight edges. But I used this largest one, and I put the 2 pieces together through in my die cutting machine so that the squares would be in the right place, and so that I've got a frame card. And just so that you can see what kind of edge those dotty ones give you, it's a really subtle, nice like kind of stitch look around the edge. That's the bit that came out of the middle of my thing. We're not going to use that today, but I can use it on a different project. So then I've got this 4 3/4 inch piece of vellum, and you need a heat resistant vellum, and I'm going to pop that into my stamp position tool, and I'm actually going to grab one of my magnets and just pop it down the side so it doesn't move. And then I'm going to use this Thinking of You Blossoms stamp set from Polkadoodles, and this is actually what gave me the idea for the card, because I really love this floral, and it did remind me of kind of a stained glass window. So as soon as I got the stamp set, this is what I wanted to do with it. If you've got black embossing powder, you could do this with VersaMark ink and black embossing powder, but I don't have any black embossing powder, so I'm going to use my StazOn ink and some clear embossing powder. So then I'm going to go in with my VersaMark Inkpad, and I'm going to lay that down straight on top. And then I'm going to pour over my clear embossing powder. This is the Altenew crystal clear. I always like to give it a little flick because I think it helps clear areas that you don't want embossing powder on. And then I'm going to take my heat tool . So now hopefully you can see that it does look quite like I've used a black embossing powder, and that's the look that I wanted. Obviously it's easier if you've got a black embossing powder, but that's good to work around for any colours really, where you've got a colour of ink but you don't have the embossing powder. Just stamp the ink, cover it straight over with VersaMark ink, and then use a clear embossing powder over the top. So now I'm going to use these nice bright Island Garden Altenew markers to colour this in. These are quickly becoming my favourite markers actually. And then look how cool that looks. I hope it shows up nicely on camera because it looks really nice in real life. And then I'm going to put it in here, which will create kind of like a frame for it. And I'm just going to add some tearing tape around here. So then here is my card front. You can see I actually tore the paper a little bit there. So I'm going to create some embellishments and a sentiment. So for the sentiment, I'm going to use this Great Occasion stamp set from Polkadoodles, and it's got all sorts of sentiments on it. Happy birthday, anniversary, and the happy separate, so you can then use it for happy anniversary, celebration, baby shower, Valentine's, christening, baptism, bar mitzvah, Eid, Diwali. There's just so many different occasions on here. So it's a really nice one to have. So I'm going to just line up the happy and the birthday on my on the grid on my mat, so that I can make sure that it's level. And then I'm going to use my Altenew jet black ink just to stamp it on a piece of spare cardstock. And then I can just cut that down. And actually I think that this looks nice just with the sentiment without any extra embellishments. So I'm just going to use some of these clear gems just to hide the fact that there's a little tear in the corner. And then I'm just going to add a couple of these small foam pads to the back of my sentiment, and then I can just add this across here. And there we go, there's my card. As you can see when we open it, it's got that nice opaque look to it. So I think with a card like this, you want to write your sentiment on the back, because otherwise it's going to show through here. I just think that's really cute, and it looks really different to what you would find on the shelf in a card store. So I really hope that you've enjoyed today's card. If you did, I'd appreciate you clicking like below. You can also press subscribe if you'd like to see future videos. If you press the bell button and select all, then YouTube will also notify you when I've got new videos available. All of the products that I've used for today's card are listed in the description below, and there's also a link to my blog there, and on my blog you can find a picture shopping list if that makes it easier to find what you're looking for. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.